FEMA, do you have
Oh,
anything?
I'm sorry, I was going to say something there on that issue of the NRCS gentleman. Also, the NRCS gentleman asked the gentleman that just bought the house, okay? He says, do you reside here? He says, no, I do not. He says, we cannot fund a part-time residence. And he says he plans on moving in. He says it doesn't mean a thing, whether you plan on it or not. It has to be a full-time resident, and it's not going to be for a long time. So he can't fund it just for that alone.
NRCS won't get funding, then?
Won't fund a part-time resident, full-time resident.
But isn't the borough being the agent? Isn't the borough being the agent to get this money?
Now we're back to the borough sponsoring.
Jack, that needs to be followed up with this.
All right. You don't have anything?
Yeah.
You do.
I got paperwork from FEMA, and I sent it down to the solicitor, and it states in there that the reason for de-obligating the money is different than the letter we received September 6th, and we need to send a letter to FEMA, have the attorney review it, have the attorney write it to get that straightened out so it corresponds with the de-obligation of the funding from the September 6th letter of 06.
What happened is the FEMA declaration in their reports was different than the FEMA letter. The FEMA letter from Mr. Ford clearly indicated that the wall was privately owned and that the borough did not intend to maintain it in the future, and therefore it had to be de-obligated. The FEMA report indicated that the borough didn't complete the job, they didn't go through with the work, and that's why the money was de-obligated. So that should be clarified back to the September 6th letter of FEMA. And I would ask that the council authorize me to contact the appropriate authorities of FEMA to get that paperwork straightened out so that the money can be properly returned to FEMA.
And try to get attached where there was anything about Andy saying where it got FEMA about the public or the private land.
Jack mentioned something which I think probably needs to be addressed, which is how it came to be that the agency FEMA was under the understanding that it could be in fact a public project and utilize public funds. And I agree that if that's okay with Borough Council, I'll address those two issues with the appropriate authorities.
Tony?
Well, I was going to follow up with what he said and make a motion that Attorney Bugaj contact FEMA and get the proper de-obligation clause written down for us to have on record of why the money was de-obligated, and also to contact them about the public ownership of the wall as well.
Okay.
And that's it.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Motion been made by Tony, seconded by Fred. All in favor of having the attorney look it into it? That is. All in favor? Opposed? One opposed, the rest in favor. Okay,
Kurt.
auditors?
Kurt.
Auditors have anything to say?
From public entities such as municipalities, it's that we want to follow to the fullest. And that's why I've requested that we adopt this resolution with regard to those records. The problem is that there are records that I think are being given out, we believe, by parties unknown, which we believe are the wrong information to give out, and we can't have the borough at risk. With regard to your second question, I think the mayor mentioned a September 6, 2006 letter from FEMA, and I just read this portion of the letter to you, which should answer your question on why the money was de-obligated. And it says in the third paragraph, however, it has come to our attention.
Could you read the whole letter, please, instead of just a portion of the letter and the date the letter was sent and everything, please?
No, I'm going to read the third paragraph, which is the reason why, and the letter, you probably have already obtained it. You can see it. It's, however, it has come to our attention that the wall is privately owned, and the borough does not intend to continue the maintenance of the wall should repairs be funded by public assistance funds. Given these circumstances, FEMA must de-obligate the funding. That's in the September 6th letter that the mayor properly referred to earlier in the meeting. And that letter is on file for examination by the public. So that should answer your second question.
And the date of the letter was September 9th, and who is it from, please?
No, it's September 6th.
But here again, Ron, the full letter would help the public know that it did state before that was brought to their attention. And my question is, what letter really preceded this to bring FEMA to their attention?
Jack, if you want, and actually, you're right about that other issue which was addressed, and that's the second paragraph, which clearly shows there was a misunderstanding along the way. And it says, when these projects were originally written, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, based their decision to fund the repairs to the wall from 2 disasters on information provided by Mr. Andy Bennett, who said that the borough owned, maintained, and would continue to maintain the wall. Then it goes on to say that, no, the wall was privately owned, the borough doesn't intend to continue maintenance. Therefore, this funding was improper, so it was given under misunderstanding.
But when was it taken from the town wall to a private wall? That has never been explained to me, and I've asked that many a times. I mean, from what I understand, that is supporting the road. Okay, now if it's a private wall, that means that's a private road. But from what I understand, we maintain it.
See, that logic doesn't necessarily follow. It's a public road, but the wall is on private property.
But the wall holds up the public road.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe-
talk to
maybe
the state
PennDOT or
about
somebody
that,
else
it's
should
a
be
state
involved.
road, talk to the
Well,
state.
then, we're supposed to be taking care of that road wall
No, the
one
state
way
is,
or
it's
another.
on state right away.
Through the state. So that means it's no longer a private wall.
No, it is a private wall, and the borough has taken steps to try to get funding through NCMS.
But when did it become a private wall? See, I still haven't gotten that answer. I've asked that many a time.
It's my understanding it always was a private wall, but it had been maintained by the borough for a period of time,
Well, when did it turn over?
2006.
Yeah, by this council.
Yeah.
See, that's the question right here. The question right here really is
But
because
this
the
happened
wall,
before 2006.
That's
What happened?
that's the big question, you're right.
It did have, the damage did happen before 2006. So anything after 2006, then yes, that's private. But the damage was prior, so that is town council.
The problem is the prior mayor, according to this letter, and I'm not speaking for the mayor, but the letter says that the mayor told them that the borough owned the wall, which was not correct.
And
We've
that was
asked them
before
anybody to provide-
2006, right?
At any time, it was always privately owned. The borough did maintain the wall for a while, after it was repaired, I believe, in
Or,
1996.
do you know the dates that
Date?
do you know the dates that the borough council repaired the wall, Mr. Boucher?
I have a general idea. It was between, it was around 1996, I believe.
No, before that, Mr. Boucher, before that.
And it could have been, I
It
understand.
could have been FDAA 523 disaster. The records are there, the records are in the borough file, and this council is ignoring
I'm not trying to
historical
debate. I'm
precedents
reading
on the
from
wall.
de-obligation letter to answer this gentleman's question, and I think I've done it.
I have a question. What pool in there